Hey, Alex. James said you had an 8-minute video.
What?
You have a video?
Yeah.
Well, just plugging up ahead. What do you have it on? Oh, it's on YouTube? All right.
I don't know what that.
Like it drops, or- I'll text Chris. How long is it? All right. I think we have a few executive sessions, I'm sure. So when we're doing that, we'll just remember that. All right, good morning, everybody. We'll start with the pledge, or the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we just ask you to watch over this meeting of our Board of Commissioners today. Watch over all of the employees as they go about their duties throughout the week and help our commissioners make decisions that are good for our county. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
All right, good morning, everybody. Get started. I make a motion that we approve the meeting minutes from last week.
I'll second it.
Motion moved and second. Any more favor? Or all in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion, we approve the claims in the amount of $508,328.74.
I'll second that motion.
Motion been moved and seconded. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
We had sheriff's prisoner count was sent out earlier this morning. You need a copy. I've got one here.
I do. I can't get on my computer. So. All right, the sheriff's report is total prisoners in, we have 51, 8 released last week. Total farmed in, 35, total 911 calls, 59. Total jail contacts, 3,931, calls for service, 539. 10 civil service papers served, 3 VIN inspections, new cases opened 8, 12 of them closed. 8 vehicle crashes, 95 SRO activities, 175 bailiff contacts, and 9 livestock out. Currently, daily income for our jail housing, $2,711. That is 11/20/23. So then it has here at the bottom that between all the entities that we bill, our total was $93,309. Grand total billed for 2023 was $884,921.84. So that's from the day that we opened the jail.
That's just
No, that's just
2023.
Oh, okay, 2023. Okay.
23 to date.
What did we?
It's
what
been a
was
little over $1 million from the day we opened the jail to date, I think. What, 1.1 or something like that?
Somewhere in there.
Dave, you got anything else right off the bat?
Well, just a comment, I guess. We got the canvas scheduled for 9:30. We are supposed to start that at 4:10 on Canvas Day, so I know Jessica's got a couple of burial permits, so if we can get them in before that or not, but we'll start the canvas here, go through the numbers and look at the provisionals, and then we'll have to go across the street to open the ones that are gonna be counted and run through the machine, so it may take anywhere from half an hour to an hour to get all this done before we're back in here to start the rest of the meeting.
It's gonna be,
So Galen's back there if you wanna get him.
AMR, go ahead and come on up. Whoever it is. Yeah, or-
They heard it was gonna be your last day. We invited them to show up.
Yeah. It's my going away party. Thanks for coming.
Did you bring a cake?
Yeah, no, it wouldn't have been big enough. My name's Galen Anderson, Operations Manager with American Medical Response, and today is my last day with the company. I've been the Operations Manager for Linn County operation and operation up in Kansas City Metro for the last about 7 years. And it's been a pleasure partnering with the community to do our part to take care of the citizens here and the way the ambulance service does. As far as our last report of numbers, our last 7 days, we've done 16 transports, and month to date, we're at 48 transports. It's been a little bit trending and a bit busier for the month compared to the previous month. Our EMT and paramedic positions are fully staffed, and yeah, things have been going smooth with that process change from county dispatch to AMR dispatch, with maintaining that kind of overlap between the two comm centers, and that's been going well. As far as what for you to expect for the next month or so, the daily operations supervisors will be here in my place, like I have been, reporting the same data. And then one of the operations supervisors in the Kansas City operation will be preparing the monthly reports that I've provided for them to continue providing to you. And our regional director, Jason Jenkins, who's here in the room, I will be overseeing a process to select the new permanent operations manager, which will likely be completed in the next month by January. So then you'll get to meet the new operations manager that'll take my spot. So yeah, I don't think I have anything else, but thank you very much for the years of partnership with AMR. And I think it's in a strong place. The partnership's in a strong place, and it'll continue that way.
I want to thank you, Galen. It's been a pleasure working with you the 3 years I've been here. So
It's been 3 years already?
it's been 3
Wow.
years since then.
That went fast. So thank you very much, and go Chiefs. Enjoy the game.
Thank you, Galen.
Thank you, David.
Yeah, Randy's back there too, if you're interested.
Is Randy here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Good morning, Commissioners. Randy Hagwald, Linn County Emergency Preparedness and Fire. First thing I have is the weekly run totals. For last week, we had 5 incidents. Brings our yearly total up to 405. Kind of slowed down from previous week. The other thing I have is I handed out a list. We discussed the list of the current trucks that we have in the county. I did not get emailed out, so I handed that out this morning. We received an application from Jeremy Gallagher for Station 950, which is the Linn station. It would bring their total up to 13 firefighters out of 22. So I'd like permission to hire him as probationary firefighter, pending all pre-employment exams.
I'll make a motion that we hire Jeremy Gallagher as a probationary firefighter for Station 950 pending all the pre-employment. stuff.
I'll second it.
Motion to move and second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
The other thing I had last week, sent you information on a truck on Purple Wave fire truck. It's located down in Texas. I did talk to the fire chief down there. I would probably strongly advise to increase what I'd originally asked for, price wise. The hours and miles are correct on that. It is their second engine due, so it mainly is driving time on that. So they really didn't set and pump or anything like that. It has been pump tested every year. 2 years ago, they did find a drip on the water pump, so the pump was completely rebuilt. So it's like a brand new pump in this engine. So, and a lot of that price increase would be based on the equipment they are leaving on there. They are leaving a set of rescue extrication tools, all the hose that they would need except for the hose reel. So I guess after meeting with fire board and talking to some other firefighters, that truck probably still worth 60,000. There's also a 10% buyer premium that we'll be paying. So just kind of want to get your guys' thoughts on prices. If you're still interested in that truck, it goes off a week from tomorrow. So we would still have next week if needed to. It's setting at 31.5.
31.5.
Yeah. So
And what were you saying it would cost to purchase a new one of these?
you're looking north of 300,000 for a truck like that. And that's with no tools on it, no extrication equipment. Your extrication equipment is going to be 25,000 alone. This is a used set of extrication equipment, but the equipment on there is worth quite a bit. So
And we would be selling one of our existing trucks?
yes, and going off comp prices off of Purple Wave, we'd still probably recoup 20,000 plus off of one of the trucks that we'd replace. So, and then, like I said last week, this is a smaller truck, would work well on our west side of our county. It's pre-DEF and pre-DPF, and that's kind of what we're running into problems with the newer trucks is when we need them, but the rest of the time they're setting, and that DEF system is what's causing us problems on some of the newer trucks. So this would be a good way to cope with that. The west side trucks don't run quite as much as the trucks on the east side. So I think it'd be a good fit, good save us maintenance wise on the trucks when it comes down to the DPF on it and DEF. The money's there. We have, I think, lower 500,000 in our special equipment. So
I'm for us continuing to pursue it.
I'm good with it.
okay, if you want, I'll give you an update next Monday, and we'll go.
That would be
from
great.
there. So, that is all I have right now. So,
Thank you,
you guys
Randy.
have any questions?
I know I keep asking about those mutual aid agreements. Is there something, can we get that done before the end of the year, maybe?
I can.
Okay.
I was waiting for the kind of the radio project to push forward with that. Those new radios are installed, so now we can kind of push forward and use that as a bargaining chip, I guess.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
I do have one request from Chris Martin. He talked to you last week about an intern for a couple of months. He's got the details worked up on that if you're ready to approve. It would be Bradley Rhodes. And the proposal here he has is $15 an hour or 2 days a week. And I think he's looking at a couple of months' time with him. So if that is acceptable to you guys, we would need a motion to hire him as an IT intern, part-time employee, part-time temporary.
He's just a college kid that's looking to see if there's interest in as far as IT.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have a problem with it. I'll make that motion.
I'll second the motion.
Motion to move and second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah, that's all I've got until Candace, Jessica's back there if you want to get in.
Jessica, do you have anything?
Good morning, Jessica Hightower. Sean is on vacation this week, so I'm filling in for him. The tower project was done last week. The tower out here was taken down. The shop foreman would like to use some of the larger piping for racking material in the south shop rather than having to purchase new material to build that. The original plan was to scrap that metal, so we would need you guys to okay that, using it in the shop instead of scrapping it, what they could.
I'm fine with that.
We had a motion to scrap it, or was it just to haul it off?
I think there was a motion at some point to
All the way.
haul it away, so you probably want to just a motion to allow them to salvage whatever they need to use for their project.
I'll make a motion that we allow the shops to salvage whatever material they need to off that tower to make some shelves.
I'll second that motion.
Motion moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
The water board is having a meeting on December 1st in Lewisburg. We have bussed them up there for that for several years. They're requesting that we do that again this year. Do we need a motion for that as well? The water board?
What water board?
I'm not sure. That's what I've got, is the water board has a meeting in Lewisburg on December 1st. And I guess we've used the transportation bus to take them up there.
I don't think I've ever heard from
Is that Water District number 2 downtown here?
I think that it seems like it's a regional meeting, so it's probably from all the districts.
I think you better get some more information.
Okay, yeah, okay. I've got 2 burial permits this morning. One of them is Page Enterprises. They're boring at 1900 in Keitel. And the other one is Quanta Utility Engineering on behalf of Evergy. They are doing a right-of-way crossing at 2200 in Young Road. We've received payment for both.
You said 08 and 10? Or, yeah.
Yes.
What's that run into?
Let's see, that's,
One by the power plant. You probably don't know nothing about it, do you?
Not a whole lot.
this is it here.
And the shop foremans have signed off on.
Yes.
And
Sean
it's
has
on
as well.
both, I believe.
What's it for? Is it PVC?
Burial cable from electric underground utility.
I guess my question is, what's it running to? Is there something happening?
I don't think it is. I didn't see it anywhere.
2200 Young, what is it?
Yeah, 2200 and Young.
Is it fiber?
Says underground electric utility cable. 6-inch size, PVC and AL conductor.
Do we know what it is for?
It doesn't sound, my concern is I don't know what it's going to. And I don't want,
We can hold off on that one if you would prefer and find some more information out.
what do you think? I'd like to hold up on it. I just don't,
Let's hold off on it.
are they going ahead of us and making
We can find out what they're doing.
I'd like to do that. You guys are good with it?
I'm good with it.
It's fine. Good on the other one?
The other one's water line.
Right. I'll make a motion that we approve burial permit 2023-10
I need some.
for Linn County Water District, Rural Water District number 3.
I'll second. Motion been moving second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, as far as the water board goes, it looks like Darcy just brought me some more information. It's rural water 2 and wholesale 13. They also have 8 seniors that are on the board that attend the banquet. So this is their end of the year banquet.
We do this every year.
That's,
Never heard of it.
I've never heard of it.
When was that, Jessica?
December 1st, so a week from Friday.
So we really kind of check into it, I guess.
Yeah, we can.
Good with that?
I'm good with it.
Okay. I've got 4 salt.
Is this for road or
Road salt, yes.
I have one here from Kunshik Chat and Coal Incorporated out of Pittsburgh, Kansas. Approximately 26.5 tons of regular road salt per load. Same amount delivered to all 3 locations listed on the bidding sheet. $50 for the cost of the salt, $48 per ton to haul, $98 a ton delivered.
mine from, go ahead.
I have one from Central Salt. I would like to submit our bid for the $69.79 a ton delivered.
Nice.
91.
Oh, right here. So mine's from Kansas Salt. And for 25 tons, I got $91 a ton for a total of $2,275. And just talk about the bid should include materials, material details, number of tons, and cost of delivery per load. So, are you guys looking for answers on this day? Or you guys,
No. We're opening them. I'm going to take them back and go through them with the foreman.
And then I have CB Trucking from Prescott. Total cost for road salt, de-icing salt, and trucking, $120 a ton.
We'll just do these all back together.
Yeah, please. Sean texted that the Evergy line for their burial permit is running to a substation in Amsterdam.
It's already there, or what?
The substation is.
Substation. I'd still like to wait on it. I'd like to get details from Sean on it.
See what it is. Okay.
Okay.
We could tread lightly up that.
We have, Danny had brought up line of sight issues at 850 and Angehauer Road. The curve there right before the railroad tracks. We have a signed consent form from the property owner to go on their property and clear that tree line along the curve. We would need approval from you all to do that work.
Make a motion that we allow our road department to go in and clear out that, what was the address?
The address for the property is 8451 North Tully Lane in Pleasanton. The issue is at 850 Nangahower Road.
That's my motion.
I'll second it.
Motion been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
They also indicated that if there is any damage to the fence there, that we do not have to replace it. They don't need the fence.
Good.
So we don't have to worry about that. The crews are working at 1100 and Scott Road on that line of sight issue, and they will be working on that this week as weather permits. It's pretty muddy today, so they can't get out there today and tomorrow, but they're still working on that. The North Shop is finishing up preparations for the Lagoon project. The fiscal year 26 high-risk rural roads grant came out late last week. I would like to look into submitting an application for the section of 1095 that is 1150 to 1650. So we've already been approved for a grant for the section of 1095 from 1650 to 152. And this will improve line of sight, safety hazard, signage, things like that nature along that roadway. I would like to apply for the following fiscal year for the rest of that road.
What would our cost be associated with that?
So it is a 90-10 grant.
So they're providing 90.
They're providing 90%. We would pay up to 10% of the work, and that is the actual construction and the construction engineering. The preliminary engineering would be all on the county. And I don't have any figures yet because I wanted to see if you're even interested in going forward. I would like to try to put together a proposal, work with Peppercorn, who's our on-call engineer, to get maybe an estimate and bring that back when I have the application filled out and see if you would like me to submit it.
So we can see what our pre-engineering
Yes.
costs would be
Yes.
before we apply.
Yes.
I'm good with that.
The application is due in January, so we've got some time to put that together.
And we've already went out for part of this, right? How far, or
So the grant that we have been awarded is for fiscal year 25. That's federal fiscal year. It is from 152 Highway to 1650 Road on 1095.
So this would just be going another 5 miles
Yeah,
south.
I think it's like 6.24 with all the curves, but yes. And our cost for the part that we've already been awarded, for the grant work is 102,000. The states will be 351, so the total is 453,000 for the grant that we've already been awarded. And that is not including the asphalt overlay that we're planning to do before that goes in.
and has Todd been made aware of this part of it?
No, we got this late last week. I wanted to see if you guys were interested at all before I did much to it.
You'll be bringing him in on the application process and things that way
Yes.
before you bring it back to us?
Yes. He will be part of the discussion.
I'm fine in looking at going out to the grant to improve that section of the road.
Okay, thank you. Sean and I met with Tony Malini on the 16th. He is the engineer for Terracon, who's doing the engineering for the permit modifications for the landfill. He will be here to meet with you all on December 11th.
December 11th?
Yes.
And that's on raising the cells at the landfill?
Yes. We're also going to talk a little bit about where we can expand and how you would like to change on the transfer station.
Okay.
He's got all of that. He's going to try and tie that all in together.
What about the contracts for the cities for the dumping sites? I know our last contracts.
I don't have any updates on that. Do you, Gary?
I'm sorry?
Contracts for the compactor sites.
No, we don't have that yet.
We spoke to Randy Page about the shelter roof that needs repaired at the park. He agrees with going out to bid for a metal roof. So if you all are good with that, that's the way he recommends us going. Do we need a motion to go out for bid?
I'm happy.
Do we need a motion to go out for bid for the park roof, the shelter house park roof?
Replacing the roof.
Yes.
Okay.
We do.
I move that we allow Public Works to go out for bid for a metal roof on the Park House,
Isn't there
shelter
another,
house.
isn't there another project we were looking at? Oh, is this one up here?
Yes.
We're not looking at another
And
one.
we've got that one already in the works.
All right, I'll second that motion. Motion been moved, seconded. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
The annex roof was completed last week. We put 2 coats of the stuff on. We did that in-house. It went well.
It's not leaking today.
Not leaking today. Stars estimates that they will be ready to paint mid-December and that the flooring should complete the project after the paint is on.
For the senior center.
For the new senior center in Pleasanton, yes.
So we plan to have them in before the first of the year?
That's the plan. Randy has been in contact with all the subcontractors for the old judicial building, and he's been told that we're still on track for getting them in the first of the year. The sign truck, there was some damage done to the bucket last week on the sign truck. It is at Custom Truck, sorry. We've gotten the estimate back on that. I gave it to David to turn in for insurance. The total for the repairs on this estimate is $5,506.51. After they do the repairs, they're going to go ahead and do the annual inspection on the truck while they have it. That way we don't have to take it back up for that.
Okay.
Other than that, I need 5 minutes for legal, but I'm here all day, so I can do that whenever you have time. Do you have anything else for me?
I don't believe so.
I don't.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica.
Do we have any more department heads here? No.
We are right on our schedule for canvas if you're ready to get into that.
Yep, we'll go ahead and move into that.
All right, so the first thing I need is a motion to recess from the Board of Commission meeting and reconvene as the Board of Canvassers.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. Motion moved, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, so I have a few different things to go over with you for the canvas. First thing we probably should do is read the machine results. So the way I've got these arranged, we will go straight down these lists. There's 4 pages of this. We're looking at the totals column here. The ruler, if you want to keep in line. The candidates that were printed on the ballot are listed first on each race. The ones after that that were write-ins have a WI after their name. Those totals are not on what I'm reading here. So I'll just be looking at the printed candidates for each race to start with. There are a few votes from Bourbon and Miami counties on school board. So I have those totals in your abstract list already, and I have written them in on my list to where I can read the totals that'll show up on your abstract. So if you're ready to look at that, I'll just start down that list. It starts with the extension district. I have Deborah Wakefield, 860, Janet Reynolds, 878. Then we go to Mayor of Blue Mound, Russell Beth, 45. City Council Blue Mound, Christopher Bounds, 33. Mary Krupko, 14. Robert Purdy, 53. Mayor of Lacine, Deborah Wilson, 69. David Brenneman, 41. Robert Sullivan, 21. City Council, Lacine, Jerome Mitzner, 122. City Council, Linn Valley, Connie Capps, 97. Dan Donham, 157. Richard Gravel, 114. Brenda Muncy, 134. Robert Suppenbach, 111. John Weirs, 103. We have Mayor of Mound City, Wade Doring, 71. City Council, Mound City, Jesse Carr, 66. Lawrence Forbach, 29. Mayor of Parker, Ashley Balthazar, 33. Council at Parker, Jason Weber, 20. Mayor of Pleasanton, Vicki Leonard, 38. Kevin Lodge, 22. Ron Howard, 28. And this will be one where a write-in is actually going to win that race, but that I don't have that total on this printout because it was not a printed name on the ballot. City Council, Pleasanton, Christopher Martin, 64. Angie Randall, 161. William Skipper III, 126. Kenny Stark, 86. City Council at Prescott, Zach Gillis, 38. Roland Grigsby, 40. Fritz Norberry, 38. School Board, Pleasanton, Linda Conley, 256. Sam Davis, 175. DJ Meek, 135. Jessica Myrick, 244. Jason Saban, 143. There's also a big write-in campaign on that one, but it was not enough votes to win the race.
Oh, David, you sent on that write-in for Mound City, or was it? Or yeah, on the Pleasanton one, we had a total of, is that,
Pleasanton Mayor.
you said you didn't have a total for it?
It will.
I
Comes later.
But that
Yeah, I don't, it's not on this printout.
Oh, okay.
We've reviewed the write-ins with our write-in boards and we've gone back over those results. So we have them and I don't have that name in front of me. It's Matt Young, but is going to win that race with the write-ins. Okay, I think I just did school board at Pleasanton. So then, 346 at large position, I have Brent Paddock with 291. Position 1, Daniel Ernest, 55. Position 2, Cade Cummings, 32. Courtney Lanham, 28. Position 3, Max Krull, 77. And I have 362 at large, Russell Pope, 565. Position 1, Brad Hyde, 85. Position 2, Brian Uphoff, 70. And then the position 3 and 4 are write-ins. I did not have any votes for school board in 365. That's a little corner of the county up north of Parker. There's very few voters that even live in that area, but we did not have any of them vote this time. And then the sales tax question in Linn Valley, I have yes, 182, no, 68. The sales tax in Pleasanton have yes, 158, and no, 80. So that's all. If you're good with those numbers, that's all my machine results on those. And if you want to pass that back down here, we'll get into the next part of things. Just a little review on some of these with write-ins, since we've got some stuff we're going to have to deal with there. What I'm showing now is for Lacine Council. There were 2 positions open and only 1 person had filed. At the moment, I have, let's find the right name here. Ed Smith with 4 votes. And I have, I believe it was 5 or 6 people with 2 votes. So that one, Ed Smith is winning that second position at the moment, but until we open the provisionals today and count them, we don't know if that will hold up or not. Since there's only 2 votes between him and some of the other people,
It could
it
split.
could change, it could create a tie. If there's a tie, I will have to notify the people that are tied and give them an opportunity to come in and watch us break the tie. So we won't know that until we do the provisionals today. On the Linn Valley City Council, believe there were 3 positions open on that. The first 2 are quite a few votes ahead, but the 3rd and 4th positions that are on here, there are 3 votes between them at the moment. And if I remember right, there are 4 provisional ballots that we're going to open in that area. So that's enough. It could change or create a tie. It was a 2-vote difference, but we had 2 ballots that were returned, advanced ballots returned to the polling place on election day, and then 1 that came in the mail last week or week before last, before Friday, that was postmarked election day that we could still accept. And there was 1 additional vote in that for Richard Grayville, so that made it a 3-vote difference on that one at the moment. On down the list. I don't have anything else on the second page that's going to affect results on that Pleasanton race with the write-in for mayor. As it stands now before provisionals, Matthew Young has 141 votes, and the closest of anyone on the ballot was Vicki Leonard with 38, so it's pretty clear that he's going to win that race for mayor. On the school board races, again, the Cade Cummings and Courtney Lanham race in position 2 in Jayhawk, there's only 4 votes difference, so we won't know that one for sure until we do canvass today. On the Pleasanton at large school board, the one person who had the most votes on that, was that at large? Excuse me, that, yeah, let me find the right name here. So I did have a person who was running a write-in campaign over there. The lowest vote total of people on the ballot was 135, and we had a person run a write-in campaign who ended up with 114. So it did pull in a lot of votes, but she did not have enough to win that race. So that one is not going to matter on the final results. When you get into 362 school district, we had a couple of positions that no one ran for, and there were write-in campaigns going. So on the position 3 for Prairie View School, Brian Luker has 56 write-in votes, and no one else has more than 1. So that was obviously going to be the winner on that one. And then on position 4, which was an unexpired term, George Nunnemacher has 79 votes. There were several people with 1 and 1 with 2. So George is going to win that one. So that is all my results that are in here at the moment. The next thing I need to review with you is we are now required, and have been for the last few years, to do an audit of random precincts after the election. On years like this, when it's city school, we do the random selection in the office the week before the audit. It was published on when we would do the selection and when we would hold the audit. I had to select 2 races in the county that both had an actual race on the ballot. Excuse me. Which actually cut down quite a bit on the ones I could choose from, because there were a lot on this election where only like 1 person ran for a spot. So the 2 that came up on the random drawing were Pleasanton City Council and Lacine Mayor. After the races are selected, then we do a random selection of what precinct to count for those races. And the selection on that came up with North Potosi for Pleasanton Council and North Lincoln for mayor. So on we have a board come in that hand counts the ballots in that precinct and that race to compare them to our machine results. And on the Pleasanton Council race, they counted the votes for Chris Martin, Angie Randall, William Skipper, and Kenny Stark. And the totals that we read on there were 30, 89, 55, and 51. When they did the hand count, they got the same numbers, so everything was fine on that one. On the Lacine Mare, it was Deborah Wilson, David Brenneman, and Robert Sullivan with 41, 28, and 15. And they counted that race and got the same totals that we had. So we had no differences between the hand count and the machine count. I'm then required to submit those results to the Secretary of State's office. They have to review it and tell me it's okay to proceed before we have the canvas. And I did receive that email late last week that we were good to go ahead with the canvas. So we had no issues with our audit. So that is one of the motions that I need, is for the Board of Canvassers to approve the audit results.
I'll make a motion that we approve the audit results.
I'll second it.
Motion made, second, all in favor?
Aye.
The other thing I need to review with you while we're here today are the provisional ballots. So I had a total of 40 provisional ballots for this election. I have 19 that I am recommending that we count. There are 13 of them, or, that we count the whole ballot. There are 13 that were address changes. There were 2 that were name and address changes. There were 3 that were either poll worker or election office error. And there was 1 who did not show ID at the poll. However, she did provide her ID to me last Friday. And as long as she provides it before the canvass, we can still count that ballot. So I have a copy of her ID. She came in person to give me a copy, so we're fine on that one. And then I have 1 provisional ballot from the Blue Mound area that the person was registered. However, on the provisional envelope, my poll workers just wrote Blue Mound. They didn't tell me what ballot style was in that one. And it's going to make a difference on what races we can count on that depending on the ballot style. So this person actually lives outside of town. If they gave that person a city ballot, we will not be able to count the city races. But if it's a township ballot, it'll be fine. So we'll know that when we open that envelope. So there's 19 yeses and 1 that is a yes, but it could be a partial. And then I had 20 who were not registered. So those we're not able to count those. I did have to go back on that for one of the reports to the Secretary of State and review whether they were just not registered in Linn County or in the whole state. So I went back through that, and I have that report ready to go to the state also. But for what we're doing, it doesn't matter if they weren't registered in Linn County, we can't count those ballots. So the next thing I would look for would be a motion to accept my recommendation to not count 20 provisional ballots and to count the remaining 20 provisional ballots, including a partial count on 1 ballot if it is not the correct ballot style.
I'll make that motion as David stated.
I'll second it.
Motion been moved, second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, and with that, then we are ready to deal with the provisionals. We will have to go over to my office so we can run them through the ballot scanner when they're open. I have them packaged up with the no's, the 19 yeses, and the 1 partial. And I'll have a couple of people in the office open these and have you guys stay there and watch us run them through. We will then put those results into our reporting computer, and I will print out probably later today sometime a new abstract for you to sign off on. Next week would be fine if we get the signatures on it. But we will include these. I will also have to have the people working over there today look through and see if there are any write-ins, because we'll have to record those. So we're not going to have time to get that all done before we get back over here, but I will have it later in the day. And then there are people who are waiting on write-in results. I'll be able to let them know this afternoon how those write-ins came out once I'm back over there working in the office. So if you are ready for that, we need to go across the street to take care of these provisionals. And the only other thing we'll do while we're there was I'll ask for a motion to approve the election abstract with the results of the provisionals, and then adjourn the Board of Canvassers and reconvene the Board of Commission. But we'll do that after we look at them over there.
We'll play whatever, 30 minutes or so probably over there.
It shouldn't be quite that long, I don't think, but we'll just have to see how it goes running them through. It is possible where these are folded up in envelopes that they might not run through the scanner. And if not, my people will have to hand count the ballot. We did have one hand count from the election night on an advance that had some stray marks on it. So things like that will come up occasionally. But like I say, at some point this afternoon or after I'm back over there, I will be able to release final numbers. I also have to get results from Miami and Bourbon counties after their canvass. The numbers I have on here right now are their preliminary numbers, so that they hadn't canvassed yet either when I got that. So I know they had some write-ins on one of the school board races up north. I don't believe it will be enough to make any difference, but that could change a result if there was a big write-in campaign for one person on what they had.
We'll be back. Hey, Allie? Hamilton, what she asked for? Shooting?
Yeah.
You want to try to mess with that?
I need the internet password.
This part, you might want to, like, if I can get it.
I saw it. But I'm trying to make sure that I caught this. Hey, is Chris around? Yeah, come over.
Jason. Where's Jason?
It's sitting back here in the rear spot.
Oh, Jason.
Jason, I don't know what this is.
All right, everybody, we're going to get back at it if we could.
I have a motion prepared if you're okay with it on the canvas. I'll need a motion to approve the election abstract with the results of the provisional ballots, to adjourn the Board of Canvassers meeting and reconvene as the Board of County Commission.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. Motion moved, second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, so that is all I have for election then, and like I say, this afternoon, I'll be able to get those results out to everybody once I'm back over there and we go through them. So with that, did we need it?
We've had, I think Jessica needed 5 minutes for legal and I need 5 minutes for legal to touch on a couple of things. Want to get those done now.
What'd you need?
5, so a total of 10 minutes for legal matters.
All right, I'll make a motion to get an executive session, 10 minutes legal with Gary and Jessica.
I'll second that.
Motion moved, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
If you're ready to. I mean, we down.
I think we are. aren't we?
Yes.
Tangle.
Yeah, that's.
Good.
Yep.
You know what's going on with the mic, right? The speaker system? Guessing it's something
People can actually.
having the TV on there, but I don't know. Either somebody turned it up.
All right. We did have a little bit of action. I'll kind of turn that over to Gary. Let him explain what's going on.
Well, it's simply that we did receive a report back from the law firm that we hired to investigate the incident at Tanglewood back in the late spring. The commissioners have all reviewed the report and feel like, I think it's my understanding you intend to release the report to the public at this point and be done with it. So, if I just have a few copies, so what I'll do is make a copy available to the press and then make a copy available to the annex office. And if anybody wants a copy of it, then they can request one from them. I think it's probably the best way to do it. That sound fair, David?
What did that cost us? What did this cost?
I believe we said that they billed around, what, 11,000 something or?
12, somewhere in that range, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, we didn't really have any control over it, correct? I mean,
In control over the issue, the incident?
I mean, we couldn't have stopped anything or.
No. And you agreed to do this investigation at the request of the
Citizen.
residents of Tanglewood, basically. They believed that there were misbehaviors on the part of some of our county officials, and they wanted an investigation.
So we went out for outside counsel, and at the end of the day, we don't know any more today than we knew, and basically.
Well, we know what happened, for
Right.
sure, which we didn't exactly know before, but there are still one or two unanswered questions that won't get answered.
Right.
So
I'll make a motion that we release the Tanglewood Gate investigation to the public.
I'll second. Motion moved, second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Should we send one over to their HOA or their board or whatever they have?
that would be fine. Yeah, I'll give one to David, and he can.
I think I have a copy, but just to make sure.
Do you have anything else?
Yes, I do. We have two applications for construction debris dumping assistance. These are both in Prescott. They're both owned, the properties are owned by the same individual. I believe it's Chasen Atty or Atty. I don't know the person. One of them is at 334 West Elm. The other is at 554 West Front. They're both in serious need of disposal. Yeah, there's no questions. This will be making a real benefit to the city of Prescott. And so what we will be doing is granting relief on the actual cost of the destruction dumping in our landfill. We won't be doing any hauling. We won't be doing any demo. We would just allow them to dump in our landfill. They have met the requirements. So if you're interested in approving that, it's 334 West Elm and 554 West Front Street. The landowner is Chasen Attie, A-T-T-I-E.
And this is something we usually do in residents in town anyway. I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Motion moved, second. Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
You got anything else?
Nope.
So I know one thing that's came up the last few weeks was this homeless shelter in Prescott, and I think it's going to get turned around. The newspaper. You guys want to talk about it? Are you guys? I know he came in last week and just we've gave them the time of day. I mean, they got on the agenda. They did everything proper. I just want people to understand that just because they're on the agenda talking about it does not mean that's something that we're in favor of. We never even talked about it. I mean, you guys are on board, right? I mean,
Correct.
Never, because I am getting
We
a lot
haven't.
of phone calls about it.
Me too.
It's not my intention to use any tax dollars to bring a homeless shelter to Linn County. So I'll just be straight up about it.
I'm good with that.
I'm concerned about their ability to follow through on their plans and everything. That way, I also am not in favor of using tax dollars on a private enterprise like this.
And now if it does come about in the city of Prescott, there's nothing we can do. I mean, they're not pulling a CUP, nothing like that. That's more of a city issue, not a county issue. I can double check with Darren. Is Darren around? Can somebody holler at Darren Wilson? Or can you hear me? Darren, we were discussing the homeless shelter in Prescott, and correct me if I'm wrong, it has nothing to really do with us, right? I mean, it's more of a city issue. They're not from the CUP. They're not asking us, besides to use tax dollars, correct? I mean,
Correct. If it happens within the city limits, it's the city's obligation to do whatever the city requirements are. The county doesn't have anything to do with it.
so it does come about. We don't have nothing to do with it.
Well, I understood it. He's just asking us for money.
Right.
I'm
But I
not.
just want everybody to understand that in the newspaper too.
So it's a fair statement for me to put in here. It's the consensus of the commission not to use tax dollars for that project.
Yes.
Yeah. That's all I had on that. Unless you guys want to add to it. Just been getting a lot of phone calls. David, you got anything else?
I don't believe I have anything else
Yeah.
for today.
You got anything?
No.
Nothing else. Looks like we got, I think Ally and Mark are on the agenda now. How long do you guys think you're going to be, Ally?
So we would like to show a video. It's Senator Mike Thompson. It's 8 minutes long.
Okay.
As far as other comments, I guess
That's what I was,
if you open it up to anyone that would like to make a comment, that's going to be on you guys. We did request Citizens Against Solar on the agenda, but it looks like it's just kind of hyphenated to the side of us, but we didn't know exactly who would be speaking today. If they wanted to, I would like for them to have an opportunity.
right. Do you guys want to open up the public comment first before we get into that? You guys good with that?
Public comment?
Yeah,
That's fine.
We're going to do.
Is it public comment just in general or
Public comment
for?
about whatever you want to talk about. Just when you come up, just say your name and what you have going
Do
on.
we have any other public comment besides the solar?
No?
So can we do the video and then Mark and I can speak? And then after that, if there's public comment before there's a decision after planning and zoning presents?
Yeah, I think you guys good with that.
I'm good with that.
We'll keep it pretty. You good with that?
Sure.
You good with that?
Okay.
I'm good with that.
All right, go ahead, Ally.
Hey everybody, I'm Mike Thompson. I'm the senator from the 10th District in the state of Kansas. I'm also the chairman of the Utilities Committee for the Senate on the Kansas side. And I've been a meteorologist also for about 45 years. I was on television, some of you may know, for a number of years, but I actually started off in meteorology, got into television by accident, so meteorology really was my career for many, many years, so I understand the climate and everything else. One thing I've also done is studied the energy issues for many, many years, particularly as some of these renewables started coming onto the scene, because it was clear that what was happening in Europe was eventually going to come here. And if you look to what's happened in places like Germany and the UK, where they're having all sorts of blackouts, energy poverty, and things of that nature. If we don't pay attention to the lessons they're already learning, we're going to experience that here. And we're at a tipping point right now in the state of Kansas where if we don't make some smart decisions, we're going to be paying for it very, very soon. Let me start off by explaining the two sources of energy and why it's very, very important. We rely on what we call base load. These are dispatchable sources of energy. That's your coal, your nuclear, and your gas. Those are what provide most of the energy that you use 24/7 to keep your lights on. They call it dispatchable because it's easily dispatched at a moment's notice. If you need the lights, you flip it on, that's where the energy's coming from. Then there's the non-reliable or non-dispatchable sources, and that's primarily your renewables, the solar and the wind. And we call them non-reliable or non-dispatchable because you can't control when the wind blows. We do know the sun comes up once every day and sets. However, the sun angle changes. There are days where there are a lot of clouds, so the sun is not that efficient either, only about 20% as a matter of fact. So the question is, why are we investing in all of these renewable sources of energy? And a lot of people will say, well, it's because we've got to combat climate change. And that is one of the biggest scams out there. Unfortunately, there have been decades of misinformation fed to the general public that we've got to reduce our carbon dioxide, we've got to reduce the carbon footprint. Nothing could be farther from the truth. In fact, carbon dioxide has no correlation with temperature on this planet whatsoever. It's a very, very minor player. The sun is the only thing that drives the climate on this planet. So unless we can change the trajectory of this planet around the sun, we cannot change the climate of the planet. And I think people get confused by that because saying, well, but wait a minute, we've got all these cars, we put stuff into the air. You're confusing environment with climate. You can put stuff into the environment that has no impact on the climate whatsoever. And I'm not saying that we pollute. In fact, I'm saying just the opposite. We do need to clean our air and keep it clean. We do need to keep the water clean. We do need to do things to maintain our environment so that we have healthy living. But we can do all these things or not do all those things, and it still gets cold in the winter, and it still gets hot in the summer because how we have a relationship with the sun. And what a lot of people don't understand is that the sun angle changes constantly over the course of thousands of years, and that changes our climate. So do we need to spend trillions and trillions of dollars on renewable energy to save the climate? The answer to that is no. So then the question becomes, why are we doing it? Well, with regard to energy sources, we have to ask this. Is this an energy source that's going to keep electricity costs down for us? Is it going to be viable long term? Is it going to be available? Is it going to become obsolete over the course of a period of time that we use it? And the answer for most of those questions when it comes to solar and wind is no. Those are sources we're pouring tons and tons of money into, and the only reason to pour that money in is so some investor in those renewables can have access to production tax credits. They get a break on property tax. You're paying for all this, by the way, through your federal taxes. The production tax credit goes back to these wind and solar companies through the fact that these get pilot or payment in lieu of taxes on their property tax. These solar and wind facilities do not pay property tax for 10 years in the state of Kansas, so they get to depreciate and they'll pay far less than you will ever pay on your property tax. Why should they get a break for something that's unreliable, that we can't count on 24/7? And then there's something called virtual power purchase agreements, and they have access to a backdoor funding through that. Let me explain that very quickly. They get tax credits for investing in renewables so they can increase their ESG score, their environmental, social, and governance score. If you don't know anything about this, you better look it up because it is impacting you right now. In fact, your 401k is probably being affected by your ESG score, and that's going to be a bigger and bigger problem going forward. So how do these companies get their ESG score up? They invest in renewables. So say Facebook, somewhere elsewhere in the country, wants to invest in a wind farm somewhere in Kansas or a solar farm here in Kansas to get their ESG score up, they will send the money to that installation. That installation will give them the tax credits. Might not be 1 kilowatt of electricity ever go to this company in a distant location, but they get the tax credit. So it's a backdoor subsidy. You're paying for that too, believe it or not, in your electrical bill. In Kansas, we're paying huge amounts of money for transmission lines, for the adjustment of energy costs, and you're paying for all of that. And our electrical costs in the state of Kansas are higher now than they were back in 2007 before we started seeing all these renewables coming online. We've had to pay for all the transmission lines. We've had to pay for the additional peaking generating power, which is now natural gas pretty much. And all of this cost comes to Kansans, but that electricity goes out of state. So we pay the highest average retail electrical costs of all the surrounding states, and it's making us non-competitive. So companies here in Kansas could move to Missouri or Oklahoma and pay, in some cases, half the electrical costs that we pay in Kansas. What's that going to do to businesses here in Kansas? Some of them are going to get smart and say, why are we doing this? And that's all because we're just so companies can take advantage of all these tax credits, backdoor subsidies, not have to pay property tax, and in most cases, these wind and solar installations don't have to produce a kilowatt of electricity and make enough of a profit that they are undermining our baseload plants. Believe it or not, that's the simple explanation about what's happening economically. So the question to you is, why make this decision? Why support a continuation of the degradation of our economics here in Kansas? Why contribute to the destabilization of the electrical grid in this state when we've got some serious problems? We have more electrical capacity for generation in Kansas than we need. That's before we add the renewables. We're 56% more generation capacity with just your nuclear, coal, and gas. So why do we add all of these? Good question. I hope that you consider that when you make those decisions, either to go down the renewable path or not.
Someone might have to stop that.
Are you still interested in a solar powered generator? Because pay special attention, because I'm going to do something that until recently we've never done. I'm going to offer this solar generator.
Okay. Okay. So we were kind of under the impression that this morning we would be coming in and planning and zoning, the department would be speaking. Is that not happening this morning? Would planning and zoning department head be making comment on the
What? I think,
meeting?
I mean, do you want to? Do you want to speak on it?
I meant Darren.
Oh, Darren, you want to talk? I don't.
But in the meantime, if we just want to start out like with where we're at, and then Darren can come in later and kind of explain what happened at the meeting. You want to do that? Okay. So Mark and I want to speak, and then whoever else is welcome to come up here and kind of put in their comments. There's a couple of things that throughout, I think Tuesday night and just where we're at that I just kind of wanted to touch on. Just a reminder that if a conditional use permit is applied for in the planning and zoning and the commission, they request the pilot program or millions of dollars like you've talked about in the past of what you want. If you do not come to an agreement on this conditional use permit, meaning that the CUP is ultimately not approved by the commissioners, the solar company still has that opportunity to take this to a lawsuit in the court of law. At that point, it would be in the hands of a judge, and you would also not have any room for negotiation on the pilot program. Or what the county would benefit. So again, one of the strong things that we were trying to push was to give that pause, just a pause. I do believe from that meeting that we did take away that we're all in agreement that the county we want to pause. We want time to rethink this. I know Planning and Zoning Committee board members had even mentioned possibly going back on a ballot question just for your guidance, and also another survey. I know it was mentioned it's been 2.5 years since a survey was issued. Also, the question on the comprehensive plan was questionable. It was, are you in favor of solar panels? I think now that we've all kind of understood, what solar panels, what that means, there's a huge difference with solar panels on your home versus solar panels in thousands of acres of fields. So I do think that it's important that we kind of revisit this. And if you would open it back up to letting us have those discussions again with the community, I think that's what we all would like. There are a few things as far as what I've kind of taken away, and I did call the fire chief on this as well. Some states have banned extraction, so if there's an actual accident into the solar fields, I think it's really important to know, like the state of Georgia, if you wreck your car, they do not extract. You either walk out of the solar field or, you might die. Basically, it's 1,000 volts. You cannot turn off the AC current, your DC current, or you can turn off the AC current, but you cannot turn off the DC current. So that's something to think. Like, I just don't know if our county is really ready for this at this point. Talking to the fire chief, he did say that he would like to have that training. So again, instead of just waiting till we get the solar, we're just asking that some of those things that he even might want in the regulations, that we review it and add those in there. So when it's put in there and the conditional use permit might go through or might not, like, we're all protected with what we really need to protect all of us. I think it's some things that we haven't really thought about, things just keep coming up. Like, to me, that's really scary that, my kid could be starting out driving on a country road, hit a deer, and no one can go and get her out. It's just, some of those things are just, have we really thought this through? We are not asking, for a complete ban right now. We're just asking for time to revisit the regulations and really think about everyone involved here. And are we equipped? Is our county really ready for this? And do we really need it? Our coal plant runs at 40% capacity. If we get this, it's going to go lower. We are doing that to our coal plant. If we add the renewables, we are taking away from the grid. That is adding more in there. When our coal plant is already here, it's already established, it is creating revenue for you guys. And the second you take away, more with solar farms or whatever it may be, you're taking away from the productivity of our power plant that we currently have that has given you millions and millions of dollars. I think also one of the points that wasn't really brought up was the revenue that the county brings in hunting. Some of the people we've talked to, we can't really put a number on it, but it's a lot of money. It's a lot of tourism. A lot of people come here to hunt. And if we put in these solar fields, I truly believe it's going to mess the migratory patterns of our waterfowl and geese that come through here. I truly believe it's going to mess that up. I'm not a biologist, but I think that there are a lot of people that have the answers to those types of questions that I can't give you, but I think that it's out there. I know Stephanie Ferrero is a biologist, and she was willing to get that information. We have to dig a little deeper. That's all I have. If you guys, Mark, you want to come up?
Good morning, Commissioners. Today is a big day for the county and its citizens. As you should all know by now, the Planning and Zoning Committee voted for a one-year moratorium to be placed on all solar and industrial solar in Linn County. During the meeting with Planning and Zoning, there were several issues presented to the committee which should be addressed. Starting with the survey that solar was based off of, there were only 558 responses received, and only 212 responses were in favor of solar. Out of those 212, I spoke to several people that did not understand the question. Was about losing 8,000 acres of our farm ground to an industrial solar facility. There were approximately 100 citizens at the meeting that were against solar, and currently we have roughly 1,500 signatures opposing solar to be in Linn County. Setbacks are another concern for current and future citizens and landowners. With our current regulations, we could be limiting the future of residential development in the county. Fire protection is something that's very important when it comes to solar panels, inverters, and batteries. This is a growing problem around the world because of the chemicals that are involved. Could our current staff handle these fires of this magnitude? Controlling what a landowner does with their land has been discussed a lot. Currently, the county's zoning regulations has 173 pages that controls what a landowner can or cannot do with their land. We must control what a landowner does with their land when it devalues all surrounding landowners and the county itself. Some more things that I won't go into detail about, but were stormwater runoff, setbacks around the wildlife refuge, historical sites, state and federal land. Following the comp plan, having a county vote, contacting a county that has had a commercial solar development in it and see what their pros and cons are now that they've had it for a while. Some questions I would like to ask. How does the county plan to compensate the landowners that would be negatively affected from this? Why would you not allow more time to make sure everything is done correctly? Why would you not want more in-depth regulations to protect the county and its citizens? How can you not provide the financial gain for the county from this project? Our current regulations do not protect the citizens of Linn County, and every time that this has been said, the county commissioners reply, well, they will be handled with the cup. The citizens don't want the cup to be the only thing to protect us. We don't want to fight each cup that is issued. The stipulations of the cups are controlled by the commissioners. Our regulations should be clear and convincing of what the people in Linn County want. And we do not want to add 1,000 regulations to each cup just because they were not issued in Article 14 like they should have been. You have expressed your concerns about facing legal actions from the solar companies if you pass a moratorium, but are you legally just as liable from your own citizens? I ask you to follow the recommendations of planning and zoning to place a 1-year moratorium on all industrial solar in Linn County. To go against the board that created Article 14 and not pass a moratorium would be insane. The members that created the regulations to protect our county are saying, stop. We need to make more time to make sure this is correct. Just for the record here, can we get a show of hands of who's against solar in Linn County? I rest my case.
I believe that we put a lot of into our planning and zoning board as far as what they do for us. And they did make the regulations, but.
And how long did they spend making those?
For a while.
8 months.
But now then we go back to a vote with what information they've seen, more information, and they're telling us they need more time. So why would we step out here? Give me an example of why we want to step out here and be the first one to do this when we could buy ourselves some more time and make sure we get it right before we bail off in solar.
My understanding is that we have all the time we need.
By who? Who tells us this?
Through our legal advice, through the conditional use permit process, we do not have to approve these at any timely fashion.
That's a pretty good point. But, we just went through a deal and just spent $11,000 to come up with legal advice. And what did we get?
Right. But the same findings that are produced through the conditional use permit process are the same findings that we're going to need to uphold our moratorium.
Why do we need to do it there? Let's do it right the first time. Let's get it where we want it. The people have spoke. We have 5 of the 7 members that were there said they don't like it. And I reached out to the 8th one because I wanted to know what he had to say. And we're at 6 of 8. So that's 75% of our planning and zoning board says they want to look at it again.
But they can still look at it again.
It's Article 14.
They can still look at it again.
No, they can't. They're not going to change it. Let's have them change it now if that's what they want to do. Let's put a moratorium on it and give them some time.
Yeah.
Stay in order. We're up here, we're discussing. Okay, we'll allow for public comment when we're ready to. Okay.
Are you the chairman, Danny? Okay.
Come on, let's just talk, guys. It's all right. So everybody just please be quiet and let us talk, please. Okay, so if we put a moratorium in place, so. Can you turn your mic? I'm sorry, I don't talk very loud. I guess if we put a moratorium in place, what is our steps going to be after this? Because whenever I first became a commissioner, we had the same exact thing. We just put a moratorium on wind. There was no plan moving ahead to try to get the results that we're looking for. So do you guys want to put a committee together, like a volunteer committee with yes and no's, giving us the facts of how do we move forward if we put a moratorium in place? I mean, like I said, with wind, we just kept kicking down the road until they went out of the county. But we don't have a plan in this county.
No, we put a ban on wind. I mean, that's
Well,
what.
no, I'm talking about way prior,
Right.
way before COVID and all that. So if we put a moratorium in place,
Let's give our planning and zoning time to work. If we do it for a year and let them work through what they want.
no, I get that, but I don't think we should put all that on our planning and zoning to do
They're willing.
all the studying.
They want the
what-
moratorium.
No, I get that. I get that. I guess what I'm asking is, do you guys want to try to put together a committee that brings us the facts once a month? I mean, how do we move forward? How do we come up with the facts instead of just everybody coming up and saying no or yes? And how do we move forward? How do we make sense? I mean, we put a moratorium on, something happens, we just, we put another one on, we just keep doing it like that. That's what we've done with wind for 5 years.
Okay. I have a statement that I would like to make. So first, I want to thank this group of citizens for their continued input into the zoning regulations and the thought process for the future of Linn County. I think there have been some concerns raised that will need to be addressed. We will not find the right path forward without having open minds and discussions about these hard decisions. We have zoning regulations in place and a conditional use permit process to add additional conditions to these projects or reject them as the people see fit. This isn't Bourbon County, where the discussion will be held behind closed doors. There will be public hearings on these things. You will have a chance to voice your concerns over each independent project as it comes before you. If it doesn't fit with Linn County, we don't have to go forward with it. But let's continue the process that we have in place to determine if it is or isn't in the best interest of the county. The decision to keep or close the power plant will not be made at the local or state level. When and if that should happen, how will we make up the revenue generated by it? Will our property taxes triple to maintain the level of services we have today? Solar isn't going to fix this issue. 8,000 acres of solar panels would be able to produce the same level of energy as the power plant. But we're not going to allow them to come in with 8,000 acres of solar panels. We have our 50% cap on prime farmland, meaning that Clearway's project that they have proposed would be taking 3,000 acres out of that cap to put in 1,300 acres of panels. Allowing solar, if that is the directions that the citizens are willing to try, would be a first step in starting the process of planning into the future for how Linn County will continue to prosper. The proximity to the wildlife refuge is a major concern of mine as well. Article 14-4B states that the Planning Commission may request the review of other county officials, a licensed professional engineer, and other third parties in determining the compliance of the application. This states that we can have the fire department weigh in on our ability and the expected cost to the county to address the concerns over fire. We can also collaborate with Kansas Wildlife and Parks, as well as other biologists, to determine impacts and conditions that will need to be addressed and enforced. I'm not pro-solar.
Guys, come on, please. Guys, come on.
I'm pro-Linn County.
Let him talk. Please let him talk. We're going to stop it right now. We're going to go on. Please let him talk.
We need to start looking into the future and figuring these things out. If it's not solar, I will continue to try to find the right fit for Linn County. But we are never going to find a fit with our stop sign out. This can be stopped through the conditional use permit process. the same findings that are needed to stop it with a moratorium there. Please continue to be part of the discussion so that we make the right decision. That's all I've got.
So I thought the meeting on Thursday night went really well. I watched it. There was a lot of good points that brought up, one being the fire. Another thing that's I've talked to Clearway yesterday. One of their guys called me like 4 times. I finally answered, and I asked him why they're doing stuff without us even knowing, without doing a permit and all that, which is irritating to me. I mean, they're out there doing drilling and stuff like that, and he just turned around and blamed it all on EDF. He's like, well, they're doing it, not us. And I'm like, come on, guys. But, they haven't even got a permit. Do what? They haven't even pulled a permit or anything out there, and they're out there in the fields already doing stuff, doing drilling. And that really irritates me.
Permits are not required for the drilling, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, that kind of chaps my ass. I think that's more of a fighting point for them to get way ahead of us for the day that we, approve a cup or whatever. They're already out there building, and I don't like that. I mean, Mark, can you tell me, is there people out there in the fields every day working? Rick, you got something to say?
I do, and I agree with you, Danny, that we never had policies maybe for drilling or whatever as former commissioner here. And I think that what happened Tuesday night was not something anybody really expected. That motion came solely from the heart of that individual that made the motion, and then the second as well. And everyone that spoke that night did a great job. And I'm sure every one of you have watched that video and seen it over, that the biologist or whoever that doctor was recommended a 5-year setback. And I think it took the board by a little bit of surprise. Maybe we didn't think this thing quite all the way through. We did our best at the time. We came up with the solution. We come up with the policy or chapter 14, but maybe we could do better. And I think that's what they're saying. I think that's what the public's asking you for, is more time. And if it's a 1-year moratorium, that doesn't end Linn County's stop sign. It just puts a yield sign up. Slow down. Let's think this out. We'll work through it. And, we went through the same thing with the windmills, and we put the 1-year moratorium on it, and we waited and we waited and waited. And Dave Fisher and his group came through with a lot of good stuff. And we didn't end up, when you lifted the moratorium, you actually shut them down because that's what the public wanted. And sitting there as a commissioner in a seat, I don't think you think of, this is my idea or this is what I want. It's because you may have, to a certain degree, and then you find out it's really not what everybody else wants. And that's what we're here to do as commissioners, to represent all the people that want a majority of the people. You'll never please all of them. There's no way.
All the people.
Yes. And I think this is the way you do it moving forward. You give what they've asked for. A 1-year moratorium, let them work on it some more. And if they want to change something, they change something.
Don't always pay to be first. Is what
all right. That's all I got to say. And I want to thank you for allowing everyone to speak. And I will say the president of that board that night did a great job keeping everything in order. And it was well done. So thanks.
So, you got something to say, Emily? Go ahead.
I wanted to go to you, Gary, about last week when I asked as far as what are the rules or what are if any of the commissioners, planning and zoning commissioners in the future opt to push this through and then put solar panel farms on their land, is that legal?
I'm preparing an opinion for the commissioners on that. I don't have it finished yet.
Okay, so you don't have any,
I'm not going to wing a legal opinion in public. I'm going to write a written opinion that it's supported by opinions, by legal cases and attorney general opinions, and provide to the commissioners. And then if they want to make it public, they can.
Are you asking if I voted for solar and then 10 years from now they came to me and want to put on my land?
yes.
You don't think I should be able to?
Well, no, I don't think you should put through something that doesn't benefit us, because we just live around it. We don't get any out of it. But if you're pushing for something, you have land in the county and you're pushing it to possibly increase your wealth, that should be It's not okay.
I will not be putting solar panels on my farm.
I'm not directing it towards you, Jason. I
Sure
think it
seemed
should
like
be
it.
addressed. It's not just you in the county, but there's other commissioners too.
No.
And it should be on record.
Okay. I just put my statement on record.
Okay. My question then would be, did each one of you commissioners receive the email from Mike Thompson that was sent over the weekend?
Yes. I did.
Okay. I'm going to let everybody know that Mike Thompson, he was here in town last Thursday night. If you weren't at the meeting, and he talked and spoke horrible things about what will come to this county if they push this through. He sent a letter kind of recommending that the commissioners possibly put a 1-year pause on this. And then he listed all of this, all of the facts. Some of the things that he said during the meeting last Thursday was that after the solar panels, the temperature gets past 70s, they don't work. They shut down. He was talking about this net zero emissions, but I think he said it was 0.4 parts per million right now that the carbon dioxide is in the air. Once it gets down to 0.2, the trees start to die. If we get to 0% emissions, all the plant life dies. If the plant life dies, it's what sends the carbon dioxide up in the air, and that's what protects us from the temperatures in the atmosphere. If that's gone, we're dead. So you can say that you are looking at what's in the best interest of Linn County, but people here in Linn County are saying we don't want them. This is not the answer. Should there be something further down the road when technology is caught up to it? Absolutely. But at this point in time, it will cause chaos down here and will cost the taxpayers and the citizens that live here. That's why we are requesting a 1-year moratorium. I don't know. We honestly have no idea what your pull is, that we have to do this. But we don't think you have to do this. I don't know if you're worried about being sued by them. They had 25 lands on at the Register of Deeds last year or a couple years ago with the wind. Those contracts are all gone and nobody got sued. I'm just saying that. So I'm not sure if there's citizens in this county wanting to use their land and they're the ones that are going to sue you. Clearwater and EDF and whoever else, they'll move on to another county because they're doing a massive land grab across the state of Kansas. But one of the aspects that you need to think about is we are well educated, blue collar people that love the land down here. And if you want to push this and it is not in the best interest of Linn County, then you have to look at other lawsuits that will be coming your way that has nothing to do with the solar companies. Thank you.
My name is Jason Cahill. I'm just going to ask the same question I asked the planning and zoning. How would you feel if they was all around your property where you live at?
I have no comment.
Well, I want to comment. I want to answer.
You ain't gonna get one.
All right. What about you?
I don't have
Not
an
on
issue
your
with
place, but all.
I don't have an issue with it being right across the road from my house.
What about you, Danny?
I'm only home 50% of the time because I care less.
I mean, y'all people don't enjoy wildlife and the freedom
I
of
do.
living
That's
in the
why-
country.
I don't
think that's
enjoy
why
getting
most of
deer.
us live here.
No, I don't enjoy.
I was trying to
That's the only
speak,
way.
man. I appreciate you not cutting me off because you wouldn't let me do it to you a minute ago. So you better hold your horses.
Guys, come on.
I'm sorry.
Let's keep it civil.
Um,
Around a little bit or something.
Now, I work hard to pay for my ground just like everybody else, and I pay my taxes every year in this county. And we do that so our voice is heard by people like you, and you make the right decisions for us. And I don't believe you all have thought about any of us at all, because if you're thinking about us, you'll look out here in the crowd at every one of these faces right here, and we are the people of Linn County. Right here, all of us. We're here. And we keep coming back and asking y'all for this, and we just need your help. You know, we're not ever going to be anything unless we all come together and make a good decision on this.
Right.
So it's up to y'all to be the backbone for us and stand up and do what's right. I think you know what's really, really right. I just don't think you're going to get there.
Jason, I have a question for you, Stephanie Walker. Where's all the pro-solar people? Why aren't they here at this meeting? Why aren't they fighting for it if it's such a good thing? Why aren't they here debating it as well?
I am hearing from them.
Why aren't they at the meetings? They weren't at planning and zoning. They weren't.
They weren't. There was some
There
there.
was a handful, but what was the majority?
I understand what you're saying.
Where they at? The majority's here speaking.
Thank you, Stephanie.
I'm Wayne Harper. I'm from over by Boy Court. I think this whole thing's crazy. I just found out about this last Thursday evening. Didn't know anything about it. Okay. Wayne Harper from over by Boy Court. I just found out about this last Thursday. I think this whole thing's crazy. I mean, solar is only good for about 4 hours a day. It's intermittent power. I mean, when the most of the generation is needed around 5:30 p.m., it's gone. It's useless. It doesn't do anything. It has always caused power rates will go up. So we can expect our electric rates to go up. Whereas our Lake Scene power plant is 24/7 base load power. It's there all the time, never stops. Solar's about 4 hours a day, and it's intermittent. It always depends on the angle of the sun, versus it's how efficient it can be. And then there's always cloud cover, and it's susceptible to like hail damage, all kinds of things. I mean, the amount of power generation they claim is under ideal circumstances, as if it were to work 24/7. It's just pure fiction. Personally, I think it's an eyesore, and I wouldn't want this stuff anywhere near me. There's all kinds of other issues that surround it. And if anybody wants to look up some stuff on this, a good site is Dave Walsh Energy. That's it. I just think this is nuts to put this thing up. It's crazy. Why would we want our rates to go up and create a wildlife hazard? And
I'm Auburn Skipper. I wasn't planning on speaking. I forwarded you guys what I shared at the solar meeting, but it's a little daunting to think that you have to keep going back. Everything that I hear brings up another question, wondering how does something get on a ballot? I've heard you say that you're hearing from people that are for solar, and I actually on Tuesday night was hoping I would like to hear, because I've heard you say it and other people, and yes, there were people there, but I believe 3 were from the EDF and the other company. Only 1 Linn County citizen, if I'm correct, was speaking out pro.
There's 2.
2, okay. So I was just like, okay, that's concerning to me, knowing I think the ones that have contracts, I think of the 7, that 1 is only a Linn County citizen. And so I was like, okay, why not have a vote where people can really know, so we reach everyone to know what we're actually saying yes or no to. I mean, when you say windmills, everyone knows exactly what they're voting against or what they don't want, but solar just seems to be a little bit muddy. So I think that was my recommendation. Why can it not be put on a ballot? And that's why I was in favor of the moratorium, to give us time for that. And the other part was, do citizens know that EDF is a French company? Do they know that it's actually not an American company? That's something that was brought up that night. And also just asking that I've listened to the meetings online, and you guys do place a lot of value in what the committee brings to you. So I would want to see that consistency in honoring their vote to have a moratorium, for you voting to honor what they've recommended to you. That's all I have. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sherry Gentry, and all of us here are asking for you to vote for the moratorium once again, based not only on our opinions, but the Planning and Zoning Committee to slow this thing down. You are faced with making a decision that will affect the county for decades, and your and my family for generations to come. This is a decision that the solar companies are trying to rush and manipulate along. The commercial solar and wind have amassed small communities all over the Midwest and Kansas, preying on us with teams of people educated in communication, painting an unrealistic picture for their multi-billion-dollar companies. All while they have been here several years behind closed doors and behind our backs trying to set up their deals, and they are foreign entities that have no regard for the well-being of our citizens, our wildlife, our land values, and they will destroy and leave behind our land. And they will take the millions of dollars of government subsidies back to their country. Most of the ones we're dealing with are from France. You have an opportunity today to stand with your citizens that not only vote you into your positions, but pay all of your salaries. The citizens have spoken in large numbers, and it's not only your duty, but your obligation to listen and stand with us against solar farms. The county is watching, and we have the support, as you all know, by the amounts of phone calls you've all received and the numbers of people showing up to all of these meetings and the signatures that we have acquired. Look at the amount here today. Most of these people have jobs, and they've taken off work to come and make sure that you will listen to them and understand their concern and regard for their county. To this point, we citizens have been met with nothing short of disdain and rudeness with this solar. We were denied on the agenda, I don't know how many times. There have been Kansas Open Meeting Acts laws disregarded. The sheriff was called on us. Your refusal to engage with us several times. We're your citizens, guys. We don't want this. And for you being rude and getting angry and not wanting to hear us, that's not an option for you. You're voted in to represent us. The planning and zoning have realized the importance of slowing this project down and finding out the facts and listening to the citizens and have an open mind for future education from experts that are not from or hired by the renewable companies that stand to gain millions on the destruction of our beautiful county and our country way of life. The people of this county are awake and are listening to this very meeting and every other one. We are praying and asking you do the right thing for your friends and your neighbors that you represent and that will live with you for years to come. If this is such a great deal, taking the time to educate everyone should not be a hindrance. Thank you.
Is there any other comments?
My name's Austin Kellerstrass. I just want to thank you guys for your time. Thank you for letting us be able to speak. I know not every county is able to do that, but everybody has an opinion, but not every county does come and stand up what they believe in. Our county does. This land down here is a way of life. We all work and have jobs and stuff because we have to. But being down here, something as small as getting to just like my ride here, looking at whose farm's doing what, how their crops going, who's cut, what kind of animal tracks, like I said, it's a way of life down here. We're all here speaking for each other. I feel like it's gonna cause a lot more problems it's gonna affect more people negatively than it would positively. And as a country, as a community, that just doesn't seem well. It's also a long contract, 30 years. Presidents shouldn't even be in office more than 4 years. So, but our kids will have to suffer that. I'm young and I'm still learning a lot. But we have what they need. We have the ground. They don't have what we need. And that's what I feel is what I've been hearing from my community. And, so I think it is very possible if any of us, it's possible for any of us to change our mind or learn more information about it. And if we did have a different opinion about this than what we are all here stating, we could do that 2 years, 5 years, 10 years from now. Like I said, we have what they need. We have the ground. We have the community. We have everything we need. We do not feel we need this. We are all here speaking for it. And I just thank you for your guys' time, and thank you everybody for your guys' time. And like I said, we have a future. We can fix stuff in the future. Thank you guys.
Is there anybody else? I want to address Sherry's comments. Sherry, I'm sorry you felt like that. I don't know if, hopefully I wasn't the one you were addressing that to, but I assure you that all I am is a line leader for you guys. Y'all are way smarter than me, I guarantee it. I'm just here to be your voice, and the community has spoke. They want a moratorium, and trust me, somebody said something about us benefiting a few times throughout the last few months. I guarantee you I don't benefit off of anything. You can ask my two little boys; they don't get to see me as much right now because of it. So, and my job sites are failing because I'm taking so many phone calls from you guys. So I know where you guys stand, and I'm just a line leader. So I'd propose that this isn't a motion. This is just I think I'm in favor of doing the moratorium, but I would like to put something after it where we continue to move forward.
What?
I'd
Well,
like
I'll
to put
tell you what,
something.
Danny, not to interrupt you, but I'll make the motion.
Okay, well, let me finish. what I'm
Okay, go
saying.
ahead.
So, as long as we just keep moving forward, this is something that Rick started. No, I'm just kidding. Rick didn't start this, but he was in office whenever this all actually started. And, it's like on the comprehensive plan, we didn't get the engagement that we wanted. I tried giving away a car to get people to get engaged, but so, I mean, it's great to see you all here. It's kind of like the SRO thing. We filled this place with the SRO issue too, and that was great. It's not about what I want, it's about what you guys want. And to see everybody sitting in here is awesome. I wish it happened every Monday, except if you guys weren't mad at me, that'd be great. So, as long as we move forward with, I don't know how that is though. I don't know how we move forward with our planning and zoning. They're volunteer. We can't ask them to, have meetings every week or, figure out all the details that we need. And I guarantee you, I don't have time to sit down and figure out all the details to move forward. But so if there's anybody got any advice on how we could keep moving forward? I mean, I know everybody out here is pretty much a no, they don't want it. So, I mean, you guys got facts, but I think
So
I'd like to put a committee together of both people that are for it, people that are against it. And then we bring in, the opinions, and then we figure the facts out, and then we move forward from there. I don't want to just put a moratorium on, and then a year from now, when there's a new commissioner sitting here, you guys are in here again doing this.
I promise we won't.
I know.
When you're forwarding on it, we're gonna get these regulations fixed or whatever needs to be done.
So you guys, I mean, what do you guys think about that? I mean, are you guys,
Even the ones that have fought this the most, we have no problem with continuously moving forward, whether it's for it or for better regulations. We definitely know our regulations are not what they're supposed to be, and we definitely know we can't put everything in the cup.
So what if we had the Planning and Zoning Commission have a workshop to go over the concerns that were raised in the public forum, how the current regulations mitigate those concerns, addressing any holes that we may have in our regulations, and how to fill those holes through adding conditions to the CUP process. All changes need to be supported with reasons and findings, and bringing specialists in to advise on those areas is advisable.
Well, I don't believe that putting a year moratorium on anything's going to hurt anything, no company or anything, because if they want to invest their money for 30 to 50 years, a year isn't going to hurt anything. Put a moratorium on it and make sure we get it right before we invest with them, if that's what we choose to do. So I'm going to make the motion that we put a year moratorium on the solar farms in Linn County.
I'll second that motion. Motion been moved and seconded. Any more discussion?
We'll need to do a resolution to formalize it once you pass this motion.
But I just ask that you all stay involved. And
Statement of the committee of what, absolutely, we don't know your guys' jobs to the full extent, as you guys don't know ours and whatnot, and that's not what we have to do to make our living. Yes, absolutely, any way that we can and be around each other, talk more, we are a community, whether we all have the same ideas or not. We're all here. And yes, absolutely, anything that we can figure out and be around each other and speak more of, talk more about, yes, that's what we need to do.
And we need to ask some of them in the evening, because a lot of these people here had to take a day off of work to show up.
Why is it not that you guys do it in the morning? Is it a possibility to?
I mean, it's been talked about for years.
Most of the work on this will be done by the planning and zoning, which does meet at nights.
And like our commission meetings, we have our department heads and things. That way we would be paying overtime if we did those things at night.
You can't, a lot of times you can't get the stuff like this, but to be able to engage with you guys, we have to be here, and a lot of people can't be here.
Mark calls me every day at midnight.
I know. You talk to my husband.
You have a motion on the floor, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Well, I mean, I appreciate all your guys' time and effort and the cuss words you guys.
I think that I have already stated why I'm not for a moratorium.
Okay. Well, do you want to say something before we end it?
All I've got to say is that if you do vote for the moratorium as planning and zoning moves forward with making changes to the regulations, I'm the one that presents that to the planning and zoning. My email's available. I can get cards for whoever needs it. I need all the information that I can get, which I've got 2 hours of information from the meeting the other night. That way I can start preparing stuff to present to the planning and zoning to start a discussion on those changes.
Could we have a workshop with you, Darren, sometime with the community, people around before we even go to the planning and zoning and get some ideas?
Absolutely.
With a workshop?
Absolutely.
An evening or two throughout the county.
If you guys are in favor of doing like town hall meetings for like, if you want to one in Pleasanton, I can help set that up, or, if you guys are willing to help. I just think that it's going to take everybody, and we've been working on this for a long time, and we don't get as much feedback as we want, but this is nice. This is great. This is exactly how it should have been from the get-go. Yeah.
I think part of the issue here was nobody's questioning how hard the commissioners or the planning and zoning worked, but we have to use multimedia to reach the citizens. That's why it got this far without all of us, because we didn't know about it. Us 10 landowners that started this group together, none of us knew about it. So I really feel that once we can get together with Darren and we can all work together, we can come to a great agreement that everybody's in alliance with. But Darren and I have talked about this. We've got to reach everyone. And none of us were there when planning and zoning was working so hard. But we'd have had our input on the 500-foot setback.
Right.
Just like you and I discussed, the first thing EDF did was when they signed Mike Christie, they put in a 500-foot setback. That's right across from people's houses. It affects every one of us landowners. And you yourself said you didn't think they would go with the minimums. They did, just like that. So those are the things that we're concerned about, and we feel like as a group, we can work together and eliminate that kind of stuff.
Well, and to answer your concern is, I mean, I don't know how we get the word out. I'm here every Monday. I can't afford to be here every Monday, but I am because I care about the county. That's why I'm a county commissioner. There's no other reason. I guarantee I don't make no money off of it.
On the Lake County side.
Because we try really hard to try to get the word out there. It's like the comprehensive plan. I made the joke about putting a car in it. Rick was here whenever that happened. I said, well, maybe we put a car. Maybe that'll get people involved, because we weren't getting the feedback that we wanted. We went to the gymnasiums and we get 20 people, and they just want to talk about the nursing home the whole time.
I mean, who does do the social media? Is there something that you can say, this is how we're going to communicate with the citizens from now on? I know that people that don't have Facebook with the schools, that's how you know stuff that's going on with the schools. Email and Facebook, to where you guys can say, this is where you're going to communicate, whether it be paper, Facebook, all the details on there. And the Linn County website, there's a lot more people going to the website, and there's a lot more people watching these commissioner meetings and the planning and zoning online. Because people do want to be involved. You can't be here at 9 o'clock when you have your job. You all know how hard it is to get here when you have your own jobs.
And you can use us as well, because we've developed a television.
Oh, I'm going to.
Because we can make sure that we get the word out as well.
But on a serious note, I appreciate everybody being here, and like I said, I'm just a line leader for you guys, and but I have to look at the other side of it too. What's the repercussions of our actions? And there's always a reaction for an action. So, and I've talked to a lot of you guys daily, so I know where you guys are, and you guys know where I am, and yeah, it was good. No hard feelings.
You still got a motion on the floor.
Motion on the table.
So, okay. You guys in a hurry? We got until 5 o'clock.
You're gonna fall asleep.
Hey, they all here. We're gonna get them.
How many of these did you bring?
Oh no, we got plenty of those. All right. Well, anybody got anything else?
wants to shut that down. Putting up these solar panels, they do it by picking away at such a little bit at a time.
I think
What's everybody's electricity gonna cost once they shut that thing down?
and I think we should utilize this time to come up with a future plan for Linn County because we have nothing in place. I mean, if the power plant ever did shut down, there's no plan. So I just ask that everybody stays involved and we will move forward. And we have a motion on the table. Everybody's trying to get out of here, obviously. So if anybody has nothing else, do you have something else?
Yeah, so, again, if you pass the moratorium, I'll get with Ally and Emily and work on a date that we can start doing a workshop with just me. That way we're not, spending so much time with the, planning and zoning, and I can put together stuff to take to them and have workshops with them after, because it's going to take a while to do this. I
Right.
mean,
Mike also said that he would work with you guys too, if you want to hear this.
Yeah, I texted him and called him Steve on accident. I don't think he liked it.
If somebody goes to fund it, it's gonna be him. For years.
Well, we have a motion and we have a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries 2-1. Oh, it's not time to leave. We got a lot of county stuff left. Stay down.
Commissioners, do you have anything else for me?
I don't.
Do you have anything? No. So I guess we'll sign a resolution next week.
I got a quick comment.
All right, everybody hold up. Hey, we're still
Oh, no,
meeting,
no, no,
guys. So if we
no,
can get,
no. Oh, no,
Allie has something to say.
It was kind of an idea. You guys don't have to be quiet for me. It was just something really quick. I just had this idea. What about something like going onto the Linn County website and doing like a text caster where you can text what's going on, dates. They do it for weather. It's free for the government. You can do an email or a text. Your schools do it. I mean, it's something where if you wanted to get involved, it's free. Your IT department could send that out on meetings, everything. Links for the YouTubes. I know it might take a little bit of time, but I don't think it'll be that much. Just an idea, because that would be through a phone. You could do weather updates, things like that other governments are doing. Other counties are doing that. I know Bourbon County did it when I lived down there. So just an idea. That would be something that you'd have to, go online and do it yourself, but just an idea. So.
I think it's as easy as like how the school did it, is you go on their website, enter your phone number, and you sign up.
Yeah.
They opt in.
Yeah, just opt in. I don't know, just an idea.
Mountain City tells me the bus is always late. Well, let's see, we don't have anything else on the agenda. The 23rd and the 24th, we will be closed for Thanksgiving. You guys want to talk old news, or you guys had enough, or what do you guys want to?
Move on.
You guys got anything? David, you got anything?
No, I don't.
You don't have nothing, Jim?
I don't have anything.
Nothing? Nothing at all? No, nothing on the airport yet, huh? All right, well, if nobody has anything else, I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
I'll second it.
Motion been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.